So my friend Dave Pham, who changed their name to Furcat, shared a video with me from the TikTok channel called The Old Days. It shows a video of the school bus picking up kids for school from the year 1978. Looks like it was filmed in a suburban area, and it looks very staged. Kids all get on the bus in a very orderly fashion and sit quietly in the seats. The video also shows one of the newer buses at the time where the seat backs are fully upholstered. Now, we had some of the older buses that were only upholstered in the front, and the back was the exposed metal frame of the seat. There was nothing there to act as a potential cushion, say between the metal frame and someone's teeth, for instance. I lived in a rural area at the time. My mom would become a school bus driver during my time in school. She went through the training and got licensed. That was my mom. She was always doing something while I was growing up. I never had a chance to ride on her bus because she had a different route than the one I would ride on. I always heard that the kids just loved her, but my mom was magical in that way. I still miss talking to her. Which school bus drivers did I have? I got the ones that hated the job and hated the kids. Now, the kids were always loud. They would always try to talk over each other on the bus. So the noise level was always tremendously high. There was always bullying going on. And being neurodivergent myself, I was often the target of that bullying. One of the things that bullies liked to do at the time was flick the ears of those they were bullying from behind and pretend it wasn't them doing it. The first bus driver I had was an older lady who was bald but wore this big blonde wig that looked kinda outrageous on her. She was typically a quiet driver until one day she absolutely exploded over the noise on the bus. That day she even brought the principal on the bus and scared the crap out of all the kids. For some weeks after that, you could hear a pin drop on that bus if it wasn't for all the pothole-filled dirt roads that composed the route that we were on. Now the second bus driver I had was not so quiet. He would frequently yell. He hated the noise and kids so much, she would be pushing around 70 miles per hour down some of those back dirt roads just to try to get the kids to the school sooner. I'm not kidding, it was a crazy ride. Another tactic she would resort to would be to slam on the brakes to quiet the kids down. Remember that steel frame I mentioned earlier? On occasion, at least one of the kids would have blood running down their chin from the collision with the seat in front of them. Did I mention her son was also one of the bullies? Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it? You would think, Shadrea, I don't know, some of the moms became bus drivers at that time. So in the 70s, it was kind of a transition, right? My mom was kind of a stay-at-home mom when I was young. The term stay-at-home mom really wasn't a term back then. Usually the moms stayed home. They didn't have jobs. But, you know, as women kind of got more liberated, a lot of the moms at the time would take jobs at the school. And the reason why they would do the jobs at the school was it worked out because they could still be home with their kids, right? A lot of them worked in the lunchrooms, the lunch ladies as we call them. They would do the cooking and the serving and collecting our 25 cents, whatever it was that lunch cost at that time. You know, because it was heavily subsidized. I don't know what it's like nowadays. Yeah, and because when the school was over, your jobs would also be over, and it would be home for the kids, their kids in the evening. Yeah, it's kind of like the way it was. And before that, my mom did a lot of seamstress work. She would make curtains, mostly draperies, for hanging over windows. And Yeah, she was always busy. I see some blue feathers going behind me. So I'm going to put